Hello class, so today I'm going to show you how to make a sword. So first I'm going to create my shape. This will be a cylinder, and I'm going to reduce the amount of vertices down to 6. Will become clear in a bit. The reason why, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to make it a little bit smaller, and then I'm going to change the size in the Y direction, pulling it out like this. So my intention here is to make this into the blade of a sword, so I'm just going to lift it up by pressing G then Z as well. So that's G for grab and then Z to pull it upwards. And then what I'm going to do is extend the blade of a sword using a technique. I'm going to press Tab to get to edit mode, then press A to deselect everything, then press Z to see through everything. And then I'm going to select the top using B, and that selects all of the top points of the sword. And then what I'm going to do is, by go upwards a little bit, I'm going to press G to grab them. Now you can see here that this pulls the shape outwards like this. If I press Z, I'm just going to pull it upwards, completely upwards, without moving it at all. So I'm going to do that for about that long, and so that's going to give me a nice long sword blade. Now what I'm going to do here is press A to deselect that, and I'm going to down here change to face select so I can select the top face of the object. I'm just going to put this cursor back to the center because I accidentally selected it. So what I can do now is I can use the new function I'm going to introduce called extrude. Now using extrude, I'm going to first of all press Z again. So Z has two functions, by the way, just to be clear. So you can press Z to see through, and if you're doing something such as grabbing, you can also press Z to make it only grab, only do things in the Z direction. So to be clear, you can use Z. If you're not doing anything else, Z will just make it see-through. If you are doing something else, Z will move it in the Z direction, upwards. So what I can do is use this new anyway, to make the point of the sword, what I can use is extrude. Now that's what the main thing we'll be using for the rest of making this object. So what I can do is I can press E to extrude, and I can pull up a new part of a shape. So you can see by this line here in the middle that the shapes are not, that this is not actually the same as that. The two parts of the blade are actually they're connected, but they're not the same. So I can now press size on the top here, and that's going to shrink the top part, but not the bottom. So I can shrink that, and I can press extrude again, pull it up, press S, and shrink it down more. Extrude up, S again, to shrink it more. What I have here now is the point of a sword. So this is a fairly wide sword, so of course it's got quite a easy gradient down into there, but you can make a thinner sword that has a more pointy blade like a katana or something if you wanted. Anyway, so now that I've got this sort of blade going on, you can adjust that if you want by using Z again, and you can select you can select a part like this and then shrink that further, or move it upwards or downwards. You know, just you can sort of do a bit of designer work on it to make it look good. So now we've got a blade. So the next thing I'm going to want to make is a handle. So first we'll make the hand guard, which is a very important aspect. So what I can do is select this face here, and now we're going to do a different technique by pressing extrude. So normally with extrude you just pull it out like this, but we can also change how big our extrusion is. So before I even click out of this, I press S to resize it. So now we can see, so if I pull it inwards, you can see I can make it smaller, and if I pull it outwards, you can see I'll make it larger. So if I pull this outwards for a bit, like this, so I've made a flat surface here, which is going to serve as the cross guard. Cross guard is the name of the thing. Hand guard, both of them work. And so what I can do as well is just make that a little bit smaller, so I can press S, then X, and I can just shrink that closer to the side of the blade. That's just to make it look a little bit better. And then I press E and pull it downwards, and it stops flashing like that, and now I have a very good looking shape for my crossguard. Now the next thing I can do is, if I want to make the actual handle, I can do the reverse of that. So I press E and then S before I click, and instead I pull that inwards. And I'm going to make that quite small because it's a handle, it's going to be easy to grab. And then I can press S again and the Y and pull that inwards to make a more hexagonal shape. Sort of like the actual cylinder with 6 sides we had at the start. And then I can press E and pull that out. And we have ourselves a handle. And then quickly, just for a bit of decoration at the end, I can press E and pull that out, then press S to make that wider, and then press E again, and press S to make that smaller. And we have a pommel as well. So in the end, what I have here is a sword. And a sword I've made out of one shape. I haven't put together shapes, it's just one shape that's been extruded and resized. So as a reminder, I just made this middle shape bigger, taller, I should say, and thinner, extruded out the top a couple of times and made each bit smaller and smaller, and then I extruded and resized the extrusion to make the handle and the crossguard. And then I did a little bit of the same stuff I did at the top of extruding, clicking, and then resizing down the bottom. Now, yeah, so that is a finished sword. Thank you for listening to this video. Please let me know once you finish the sword, and I'll move you on to something else.